So this video kind of tags on to the video that I posted already today, talking about last night's game between the Seahawks and the Bears. ESPN decided to run an image of a guy with a sign. I assume he was a Seahawks fan. I don't know why he would be any. I mean, maybe he's trying to sabotage Seahawks fans and get the Seahawks to trade for Jimmy Garoppolo if he's not a Hawks fan, which actually would be really funny. But I am just going to assume he's a Seahawks fan, and he wants the Seahawks to get Jimmy Garoppolo to be the quarterback of his favorite team, the Seattle Seahawks. And you have somebody like Louis Riddick like, hey, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Listen, what you have to realize about Jimmy Garoppolo is he has to be on a good team. And to keep it short and sweet, the Seattle Seahawks are not a good team. Not only are the Seattle Seahawks not a good team, they got absolutely trashed last night against the Chicago Bears. And I get it. It was the twos going against the twos. It was the threes going against the threes. It was a preseason game. But guess what? When the ones were in there, it didn't look fucking good either. And guess what? Your ones are going to consist of a team that has no offensive line, that has a skill group that I don't think is on the same page with its quarterback, a defense that on the defensive line had guys jumping like 2 seconds before the snap and then complaining about it to the refs after that it got called offsides. Like, this is a bad football team. This is a bad football team. And putting Jimmy Garoppolo on this team is not going to fix anything that is an issue in Seattle. You know what the issue is in Seattle? Look, the coach thinks this is a fucking college team. The coach thinks this is a college team. This worked when he had guys coming straight out of college who were still trying to develop themselves and prove themselves to be good players, because you had somebody like Richard Sherman who was a 6th-round pick. You had somebody like Russell Wilson who was a 3rd-round pick who transferred colleges during his career. And Richard Sherman who transferred positions halfway through his career from wide receiver to cornerback. You had guys like Earl Thomas who were still trying to prove himself as a worthy 1st-round pick. Cam Chancellor trying to prove himself as a worthy 1st-round pick. Who the fuck is on this team? Who the fuck is on this team? Who is on this team? Other than DK Metcalf, which I am calling it now, DK Metcalf is going to be one of the most disappointing wide receivers in the NFL this year. All the hype is going to be talking about Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, Mike Evans. Like, that's who the talk is going to be about. And DK Metcalf is going to go through the season like, I don't give a shit who my quarterback was. I had Russell Wilson the last few years, and we hated Russell for some fucking reason. And now I got Geno Smith, and I'm going to go fucking crazy this year. No, actually what's going to happen is Geno Smith is going to get sacked 40 to 50 times this year. If Russell Wilson was getting sacked 40 to 50 times a year, and he is one of the most mobile quarterbacks in the NFL, he's one of the smartest quarterbacks in the NFL, he's one of the most pocket awareness, I don't know how to say this, he has the highest pocket awareness, one of the highest pocket awareness ratings in the NFL. I guess that's how I should say that. There's nobody in the NFL, in the time that Russell Wilson has been in the NFL, there has been nobody in the league playing quarterback who has been better at evading the blitz, at evading a rush, at evading a hurry. There has been nobody better than that. Russell Wilson patented that little spin out he does to the left side, and nobody has ever been able to stop it. I think I've seen him get sacked maybe twice when he's pulled that move. That's how fucking magical he was at the quarterback position. You could not sack him because of his mobility, because of his awareness, because of how fucking smart he is. You have Geno Smith in now. I'm not saying Geno Smith isn't as mobile. I'm not saying Geno Smith is not as smart. I'm not saying that Geno Smith does not have the awareness of Russell Wilson. But guess what? If I were saying those things, you would probably accept it, because you're comparing Russell Wilson to Geno Smith. Geno Smith, a guy who couldn't lead the Jets to anything when he was there, is now being forced to be the quarterback of this football team because Pete Carroll has an ego. This is not a good football team because Pete Carroll and John Schneider have this fucking ego about them that they built this team. It wasn't Russell Wilson. It wasn't that Legion of Boom defense. It wasn't the offensive line that they actually invested resources into. It wasn't Marshawn Lynch. It wasn't this skill group. It wasn't the corners. It wasn't the safeties. It wasn't Bobby Wagner. It wasn't that incredible defensive line they had when they were winning a Super Bowl and going to another one the next year. No, it was Pete Carroll. He wants the Bill Belichick respect. And you know what? He's never going to fucking get it because he's not Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick, I think, had the smartness in his brain to realize, oh man, I got the greatest quarterback of all time. I need to just shut the fuck up, do my job, tell my team to do their job, call the plays when I'm supposed to call the plays, make adjustments when we need to make adjustments, and then we'll win football games. It's not this Pete Carroll thing of, oh, I'm going to get in with the team huddle and I'm going to rally everybody around me because it's me, it's me, it's me, it's me. I'm the coach. I am the guy leading this team. Like, what Pete Carroll has done to the Seattle franchise, they should have been a dynasty around Russell Wilson and that defense. But because Pete Carroll is such a self-centered, egotistical asshole, this team has developed into one of the worst rosters in the NFL. Look, I don't care if it's preseason. If you're getting fucking trampled by the Chicago Bears by double-digit points the entire game on your home field, you are a shitty football team. I'm sorry. You started your starters. You even told ESPN, we're not playing DK or Tyler Lockett. They still played them, and they got their ass kicked. The ones got their ass kicked. The twos got their ass kicked. The threes got their ass kicked. If everyone on your team is getting your ass kicked, there's probably a problem with the coaching. That's just the fact of the matter. And look, I love it because I hate Seahawks fans, but I hate it because I want to see the Seahawks at least be a competitive football team like they've at least been for the last decade around Russell Wilson. But that is not what they're going to be this year. And Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to fix that. Jimmy Garoppolo would make it even worse because they would have to trade so many resources just to get Jimmy Garoppolo to the franchise, and they would have to pay him the money he's owed. They would have, which I don't know how that works in the NFL, actually. I don't know if I think it gets split. I think it also depends on what the teams want to do because I know Cleveland is paying some of Baker Mayfield's salary and Carolina is paying some of Baker Mayfield's salary. But I'm not sure. I think it kind of depends on what the teams want to do. I think if San Francisco wanted to, they could say, hey, we'll take less from you if you take on Jimmy's contract, or if we take on half of Jimmy's contract, or even all of it. We want more from you. I think that's how it works. It's different than it is in the NBA, and I think I'm smarter about contracts in the NBA with trades than I am in the NFL. But the fact of the matter is, no matter who's paying Jimmy Garoppolo's contract, what Seattle would have to give up just to get Jimmy Garoppolo and what the reward would be in terms of a win-loss ratio for the team is nowhere near worth it because this team is so bad and this coach is such I already called him a few bad words, so I'm sorry, Pete Carroll. I called you a few bad words, but look, you have destroyed this franchise's chance of being a dynasty. You destroyed that 5 or 6 years ago. Look, when Russell Wilson threw that interception in the Super Bowl, you know what Pete Carroll should have done? You know what any good coach would have done? He would have said it was his call. Even if he's not the offensive coordinator, he would have said it was his call. There would never have been reports. There would never have even been a fucking rumor that Russell Wilson was gunning for Super Bowl MVP. Because guess what? At that point in Russell Wilson's career, that wasn't his motto. That was not what Russell Wilson was about. And Russell Wilson has never been a self-first type of player. He was never that in Seattle. And that was everything that Pete Carroll asked of him to do. And as soon as Russell Wilson was getting notoriety around the league, as soon as Russell Wilson was lighting up scoreboards, lighting up the box score, and being the player that I thought and a lot of other people thought he could be as the starting quarterback in the NFL, as soon as he got there, Pete Carroll decided to destroy that. And for that, this terrible season that they're about to have is everything that Pete Carroll and this Seahawks franchise deserves.